If you wanted to be successful, who would you ask? Steve Jobs? Or all of the losers and competitors that he left in his wake? Well, 99% of you would say if I want to be successful, I'm going to go talk to fucking Steve Jobs. And that's great, but that's also why 99% of all people aren't successful. And it's a funny term called survivorship bias. There will be an article linked below for you guys to check out. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how to study properly. And you may be saying, well, why the fuck am I going to listen to you, Hectic? And what are you even talking about Steve Jobs and all this nonsense? Don't worry. Follow me on my train of thought, and we'll arrive at a nice conclusion here. Okay? So, let me start off by telling a little story. So, in World War II, there were these big, gigantic planes that we'd fly through Germany with, and we would try and bomb Germany. And the planes that made it back, the planes that survived, had all of these holes in their wings. And the generals brought in all these mathematicians, and they said, what the fuck do we do? How do we make it so that these planes don't get shot down? How do we make them have more protection? We can't put more armor on them or else we won't get them off the fucking ground. So what do we do? Well, the mathematicians said, you cannot put more armor on the wings. And the generals freaked out, and they said, no, we need to put more armor on the wings because the wings of the plane are what are getting shot the most. The mathematicians said, no, the wings are fine. Every plane that makes it back has its wings intact. It's fine. What you're not looking at, generals of the United States, is the planes that got shot down. You're not looking at what took those planes down. You're simply looking at the planes that came back and saying, what did they do to make it back? What are the problems with these planes and how do we figure this out? And this term is called survivorship bias. When you only look at the winners, you only look at the success stories, you only look at the people who made it and use them as your example. When in reality, you can learn a lot more from the people who didn't make it. A really popular term that was used by someone who is super successful once said, success is simply a matter of maintaining a catastrophic amount of damage while not sinking the ship. In other words, you must carry on even while the ship is taking on water. You will always take hits. You will fail 24/7, 365, but it's how you keep going that matters. This article also speaks about how luck is typically involved with these really successful people. Because if you brought the most successful people from around the world, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, the best musician artists, and you tried to pin down one aspect of everyone that made them successful, you would realize that it's luck. There is no one defining characteristic of success. But there is one defining characteristic of luck. And that is people who are lucky tend to experiment more. They tend to be more open to possibilities. So the really successful people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all of these people, they're lucky. And the reason that they're lucky, and don't think of luck as a magical term because it's not. Luck is simply a matter of being open to new possibilities. You'll fail a lot and occasionally you'll win. And that is luck. And you will. The more open you are to possibilities, the more you'll win. It's that simple. And this is, I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm not someone who says, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm actually an incredibly positive dude, but I'm realistic. And I understand that the idea of positive thinking is not enough to get you to the top rungs of society. So, how does this tie into studying? Well, if you're going to learn how to study properly, are you only going to look at the A+ students? Or are you going to look at maybe someone who didn't do so well, such as myself? Because I am not an A+ student. I've had some of you guys give me really, the great compliments, be like, I love your content, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, and that's great. The only thing that I know how to do is find stuff. I'm good at Googling stuff. That's my skill. If I could like put down one major skill on a resume, it's like how to Google stuff. That's like my skill. And I'm good at finding shit. And I'm pretty good at playing video games, oddly enough. So, you know, when it comes to studying, it's not always the best idea to look at all the students who get A pluses because that's just survivorship bias, and you're only looking at the winners when in reality there is a huge range of data that you can pull from. There's a large base of people that you can take information from. And the reason why you might want to listen to me is simply because I've gotten awful grades in school and I've gotten great grades in school. Teachers used to define me, and I'm sure that you guys have all gotten this definition as well, where I was the kid who had all the potential in the world, you know. Oh, if he would have just worked a little harder, he'd get straight A's. Such a smart kid, but he decides to get C's and D's and sometimes B's. And I went to like a college prep school where they really hammered it into you that you need to work every single fucking day, all day long. School needs to be your focus. And I wasn't into it. Was not into it. But being surrounded by a bunch of smart people, I did develop some pretty good studying techniques. So if you want to become better at studying, I can tell you a few things that I've learned from observation and experimentation. First, if you want to be good at studying, there's a technique called the Feynman technique. And I'm making it sound so much more, magical than it is. Look, when you study, teach yourself as you study. If you're learning vocabulary, and the person who asked me this, I'd assume that you're in high school or college. But if you're studying, a really quick way to learn how to study is to look at material and then teach it to yourself in a way that you can understand it. And if you can't teach it to yourself, you don't understand it. This dude, Feynman, was I think he was like this world-renowned physicist or something, and he went into like a mathematics department, and he went in there and he said, look, I can learn your entire course, I can learn this huge field of mathematics in like 72 hours, as long as you give it to me in simple terms, and that I can understand it. That's all he did. That's all he did. So if you teach yourself as you study, try and explain it to yourself in simple terms so it makes sense to you. Don't try and make it wildly complex. Einstein said the true mark of a genius is not being able to overcomplicate things, but to be able to explain things in a simplistic manner. If you can explain it to other people, then you truly understand it. I totally butchered that quote. Whatever. It's okay. So, that is one technique. The next technique that I'm going to tell you is probably the most important. I probably should have put this at the beginning of the video. If you're still listening, this is without a doubt the most important thing I have ever learned when it comes to studying or doing anything good at all with any type of proficiency. So, the Spartans, back in the day, they used to be the greatest warriors of all time. Some people might dispute that, but you cannot dispute the fact that Spartans were some of the greatest warriors to ever live, besides the whole enslaving the fuck out of people. They were pretty badass. And one thing that made the Spartans stand out, I learned this in my high school history class, so I don't know how bullshit this is or not, but Spartans used to dance onto the battlefield. They would dance. They'd have flutes playing. They'd be laughing and cheering. They would not be having war drums pumping in the background. They wouldn't be getting hyped up and uber aggressive. They would simply be sitting there, and they would be laughing and enjoying the moment and being calm as possible. Interestingly, today, we found out that if you get angry, you drop 20 IQ points. 2-0. You drop 20 IQ points temporarily when you get angry. And I think the Spartans, for whatever reason, stumbled across the idea of being calm and collected is really the key to succeeding in battle. These dudes would vault over bulls. They were true masters of war. And one of the reasons why is because when they went into war, they were happy and jovial. They were calm and collected. What I found through gaming in particular, or any type of sport, any type of thing that I've even ever been remotely good at, I've always maintained a level of calm. I literally always try to stay as calm as possible. And you might hear me get really hyped up and crazy on the videos, and that's fine because that's good entertainment value for you people. But in terms of being good at something, I try and be literally like as calm as possible. If I get angry, I vent it out very quickly and then I'm good. Go back to zero. Go back to just think about a pond with no ripples. Complete calmness. Because when you're that calm, you get in the zone. Basketball players, they call it the zone. You just let go. You let whatever the fuck is going on in your head or the universe or God move through you, and then that's it. You sit back and you just let it flow. Whether it's gaming, sports, studying, taking tests, anything. That's what I've learned. And besides that, I mean, fuck, dude, don't procrastinate like I have. I'm typically the dude who likes to, wait till the last day to study, and I put it off till the last minute. But anything that I've ever been remotely good at, I've really put in the time, I've put in the dedication. And I know it sounds really silly. And if you're one of those people who really dislike school, if you really hate school, I want you to look at it like this. J. Cole used to say, I don't know if you guys know who J. Cole is or not. He's this, big famous rapper. He said he hated school as well, but he looked at school as a competition. And I think that's really fucking awesome. Don't look at school as this awful 8-hour long, fucking drag. Look at school as you're going to fucking battle. You're going to battle for 8 hours a day, and you're going to push your mind to the limit, and you're going to, when you get that test back, and you get your 94, and the dude next to you gets the 84, you can look over and be like, yeah, what'd you get? Yeah, you got an 84? Okay, that's what's up. I got a 94. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's what's up. All right, yeah. All right, man. It's all good. 84. 84 is good. 84 is not bad. It's not as good as 94, but, it's all good. It's fine. Anyway, I find that really good. I'm really competitive, right? So I thought that was pretty inspirational. And that's how I approach school these days. Competitive. If you want to be the best, then, try and be the best in something that you may not like and see if you can do it. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope I did this topic justice, and I hope you listened to it all the way through. If you like this video, comment, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. Next topic I'll be talking about is racism. If you want to know more, feel free to read that article. Also, by the way, next video I do after racism is your guys' pick. Feel free to choose the idea. I'm on winter break now, so I'm just chilling. And I'm ready to go. Anyway, I've been going for too long. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day. As always, peace, you beautiful motherfuckers.